30th of June. Because today I think is the last day of June. Wait, does June have 31 days or 30 days?
30.
No, it has only 30 days. Only 30 days. Okay, so let's see. Where should we begin? Oh, Rizal, please, if you'll do me the honor. Thank you. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. So welcome all to the All Hands, everyone. Today we have some new people with us, so we'll introduce them later in a little bit. And for anybody new, prepare a fun fact about yourself so that people will know. And if you're just doing this for the first time, there is a section in the table just below where you put down your personal achievements, growth, and a picture of you, the youngest picture of you that you can find, and your biggest actionable discovery. So, okay, let's go ahead and get started. I actually realized I don't think I filled my part out because I'm a little bit like I feel a little bit jet lagged. I've been going to a lot of meetings, so bear with me here. Okay, so this is our weekly inspiration, and I know this has been going on for a while, but I just wanted to sort of put some focus on it. This is our probe listings, and I think the probe listings they're still in development, but I think the intention is to have top of market performance for our distribution platform. So that part is cool. I just wanted to raise awareness about probe listings are happening right now, part of a combined project. This is a Holtz winter forecasting model. So this is pretty sweet. This has been this is called exponential smoothing. And it's one of the things that we took away from a discussion with Slavik a few weeks back, who's the forecasting mastermind in the world. And we've been able to see Holt Winter predict our revenues over the past few years. You can see the blue line is our actual booking value, and we have different models, Holt Winter, T12, T6, T4, T3, that track that model. Pretty cool. So this is what's happening in the world of being able to forecast revenue at the company level. So that one is coming from a discussion that we had through Professional Network. All right, some new characters that we've met all throughout the world. This is Ricardo. Ricardo's in Puerto Rico. And Ricardo used to work at Airbnb, and he organized communities to lobby on behalf of Airbnb. So they would make home sharing legal in places where home sharing was a hot button issue. So very cool. We learned quite a bunch from Ricardo. His takeaway was don't push the elephant, but rather give the elephant a reason to move. And I think when we're trying to get our communities to activate and engage, that thought is a very helpful guidance to get things moving along. All right, next guy is Hatam. Hatam is from the Uber Cairo team, and we used to work as a team lead. And we were able to speak with him on Saturday, and we understood quite a lot about the dynamics of leading a team, structuring a team, and building and growing a team. So very good information from Hatam as well. Pretty cool. Okay, this was just from this morning. So this is Jason Silver. Jason Silver did executive recruiting at Airbnb. So his job was to bring in senior level, C-level executives. We just finished up this morning at 7 a.m. Thank you, Alethea and Ara, for starting the day on such an early hour. I know that must be difficult when you're young and you have so much beauty sleep to get to. But yeah, pretty cool. A lot of learnings, a lot of takeaways about recruiting, finding the right mix, creating good compensation packages. So that part was pretty cool. This is Freda. Freda is part of our community, I guess. He has a company here in Bali called Bali Treasure Properties. He's the co-founder. So he's been working for a few years on long-term property rentals, and also pretty interesting fellow. We learned a little bit from Frater on his approach to building a company here in Bali. A lot of it, which was similar to what we've been doing here at Bukit Vista. So that was a good reveal. All right, next one. Next one is Shinthia. Shinthia hosted a gigantic webinar with I think there was people attending from all over the world. It was really cool. and we basically took some of the mentorship that we got, and we organized a webinar from it. Cynthia led that, so thank you very much, Cynthia, for that milestone in our company's history. Very cool. Okay, that's the set of weekly inspiration. And then next to the update, employee office hours are still happening from 3 to 4. The lunch hour is still there. I regret that on most days, because I have so many meetings, I usually skip the lunch hour and I take a nap. I guess that's okay too if you want to take a nap, because it can be tiring sometimes. So that's but we do have it. So if you feel like you want to get to know your colleagues in a more sociable setting, the lunch hour is a very delightful place to have fun conversations during lunch. Okay, so a few principles I'd like to discuss this week. The first principle is, I think, so this idea of why do we always report about mentorship? Why do we always talk about professional networking? And the principle is, I think, great learnings actually and great growth can come from great mentors and great mentor relationships. So remember, you can control who your mentor is. You can actively seek advice. You can implement this advice into your work, and then you can seek advice from the mentor again on progress. And I think this is a great cycle of growth and development for the entire company. If you're new here, you will get a buddy, but your buddy is not your only mentor candidate or mentor prospect. Seek mentorship inside the company wherever you'd like, and outside the company wherever you like. I think this is a great way to build and a great way to verify what we've been doing. But also, I would also caution this part, which is, I think we get to have progress under guidance, but ultimately you got to do it. You got to take some risks still as well. Oftentimes we hear advice from mentors, and it might lead us to be more cautious, and it might lead us to be more afraid of taking any risk. But I think as an innovative entrepreneurial company, it's still important to still take the risk. Even if the mentor is giving you advice, I think you're still going to have to like go out there and do it. And you'll still need to take chances. So that's a takeaway and a principle I want to reiterate. And the other thing I think is also pretty important is about great partnerships are set with clear expectations early. And we've been doing this now with the new batch of interns that have been coming in. I see it as a form of a partnership. We're exchanging time and I guess interns labor for experience on the intern side. And I think it's important to set expectations early about what you want and what you expect of other people. And I think ultimately you'll have more successful relationships if everybody has their expectations visible and clarified at the beginning. So on the next part, I'd like to actually invite Vinny in to talk about this concept, because I think this concept for me was a pretty transformational idea. I'll turn the floor over to Vinny. And Vinny, can you talk a little bit more about the zone of proximal development? Last week, I think we touched upon it, but can you sort of expand on it and tell us how it relates to how things work here at Bukit Vista?
Right. So the zone of proximal development actually originates from a theory, I believe it's by Piaget, which is a developmental psychologist. Well, correct me if I'm wrong, Althea, if I'm wrong about my psychology readings. And he believes that in each stage of development, people actually have this sweet spot of learning. So let's say you have a locus of what you know. You don't simply learn something when the thing you're trying to learn is beyond, like far beyond your locus of knowledge. Therefore, you have to find something in between, within the boundaries, but still try to exceed the boundary in such a sense that half of it is familiar and half of it is foreign, such that the learning process is optimized within that particular area. So that's the gist of it. And in the company level, I believe that each chapter have a different locus of knowledge, right? And sometimes we are blinded within our own knowledge that we do not realize that we have different focus and locus, and therefore there's this concept of equity, not equity, but understanding some understanding the um, understanding other people and understanding what they perhaps know, and allocate the resources accordingly such that we are optimized together in a sense. And the optimization method, just like in building a model, sometimes the function or the way to optimize different functions depends on each task. So that's it. That's the gist of it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Vinny. So to put it in kind of an emotional context, if you feel like some things are difficult to grasp or difficult to learn, I would say take it on a step-by-step basis. And if you're confused, it's generally because some knowledge is just a few steps ahead. It's hard to conceptualize it before you've gotten closer to it. So to sort of summarize, go from the well-known to the little less known to the unknown. And also, if you're teaching people, if you're trying to mentor and share experience, realize that people across the company might have very different ideas of what they consider well known, little known, and very unknown. So something that might be well known to you might be completely unknown to another person. So to get that really good mesh, I think it's good to use Socratic method, explore and understand the other people in the company so that you can see what it is that they might have struggles with understanding. So that is fundamentally, I think, really important. The focus of this company has been so much about, I think, just sort of putting out information there, but we have to take into account where somebody is at the moment in order to get the greatest effect. All right, thank you very much, Vinny, for that. And let's continue to the June theme. The June theme remains the same. We're going to make impact. We're going to start changing the world by thrive, consume limited resources and prioritize, work and collaborate on the most impactful projects, look to get short-term wins with long-term gains. And similarly on survive, find the largest, simplest deals in the market, and maintain our current future rankings on Airbnb. The greatest feasible opportunity is still here. Anybody who might be new, I would encourage them to read this article. This summarizes our point pretty well. And once again, the idea is to deliver hospitality management as a service to get to this global value idea. Okay, this is where I'm going to go into some priority questions. Now, these are different answers than some of the things that we have talked about than my responses before from previous weeks. So the first question is, are we in a recovery? And based on what I'm seeing now, I would say it's no. It does not look like we're in recovery. It looks like things are going to get, in fact, a little bit less positive. Things are going to get worse for a little bit. And what is that based on? We're seeing that the consumption in the market is depleting because there's going to be fewer villa guests coming up, and there are people checking out of the bigger properties. Also, we know that because the only routes coming into Bali are domestic, our only real opportunity now till September are people who are traveling maybe from Jakarta or Surabaya. But that, once again, is an unverified opportunity. It could happen, it might not happen. So it doesn't look like we are actually in a recovery yet. In fact, without the airport in Bali being open, without more land travel happening across Java to visit Jogja, I don't think that it looks actually like a recovery at all at the moment. So no true recovery, I'd say, until we see the airport open up and guests from all over the world start circulating again. So while we are not in lockdown anymore, and I'd say for the personal experience of living in Indonesia has become a little bit more comfortable, but economically and to the extent of this company, it does not look like we are in recovery. Furthermore, we spoke about what a recovery would look like and that's essentially we look at our future revenue. And since a few weeks ago, the future revenue has actually been shrinking. It went from about 1 billion rupees. It's down to about 800 million now due to cancellations that are happening in June and July because simply because people can't get in. So we've had bookings in, I think, Village Street to India, for example, for July, for August, but most of these have been canceled. They come from different countries and they have no access to Bali. So what's supposed to normally be a peak season right now does not look like it will be a peak season. And for this entire year, which is ironic, there will be no peak season, most likely. September is generally the beginning of the low season. There's probably going to be less reasons for most people to travel this year. We can expect perhaps some bookings in December, which is Christmas, and it's still a little bit further into the future, but it's not clear what's going to happen even after they open the airport. There could be a lot of factors that might require the airport to be closed again and for complications. So doesn't look like they're recovering at this point, progress. I'm also going to report on the progress of our company toward our goals. We felt that there was a lot of traction before. We were going to reverse engineer the future, and that part still is happening, I think, at a research level. But on the development level, I think we've reached some obstacles, which is the first question is if we are going to reverse engineer the future, we need somebody to sell it to. So currently, we are noticing even depletion in our current community. There is no clear, I would say, overall picture about the health of the existing community here in Bali. And without understanding that better, it becomes a little bit harder for us to also ask for what new customers we were going to get. So who we're going to sell to right now is it's not 100%. And it's not 100% because I don't think we have entirely a product market fit at the moment. We have a product, it works, but as we see on the engagement levels with our property partners, it's not as high as it should be. The property partners are simply not checking bigger as often as we would hope that they would. And I don't think we've created that level of engagement that is sustainable at this point. So we are below product market fit. What we're going to sell them right now is also below the product market fit. We know we want new partners and we want existing partners to use the guest CRM, which essentially tracks the guest journey, and we want them to use the financial management application. But this has not actually happened yet either. So in the aspect of product, yes, we have a product, but we do not have the product market fit, which is a product that people are going to use on an active basis. Now, I think that's the most crucial part of, as a company, what we need to fix in order to be able to progress along and get into our goals. Once we have product market fit, once we have a user interface and a engagement level between bigger and our community of property partners that is, I think, above, say, 50%, 60%, I think we can be more confident that what we're building is going to scale worldwide. This is also pretty normal. I also want to add, it's funny in the world of product development. It's actually, I think, it's one thing to develop a product, but it's completely a different thing to actually market and get engagement with the product. If you take a look even at the App Store, you can probably imagine that there's millions of apps that nobody uses. So to be an app that somebody uses is actually a formidable challenge. And I think we have a formidable team that can actually get this to work. But as of today, I don't think we're quite there yet. All right. What are we going to sell in the future? We're going to sell hospitality management as a service, but I won't make any grandiose claims at the moment. We do not have a single buyer for this idea yet. We have been looking at discussing with property developers, not very many yet, but so far the reception we don't have enough feedback to know if anybody will try this system. So it is very much, I think, in like because we're still building the foundations. But it's okay. I think it's better that we find out about this earlier on than 6 months later after, let's say, we've spent a lot of time working on a product. So this is essentially what it means to develop a bridge on both sides. We need to build the product. We need to see who's actually going to use the product and get that engagement level up. Okay. If you want to look at previous questions that we have on here, there's an archive questions over on this side. I'll skip over the missions of each chapter. I think those should be pretty self-explanatory at this point. And orientation, I think for new people, has covered the missions of each particular chapter. So that part I'll skip. And let's go right into it then. Let's go over to Tendi. So Tendi, okay, Tendi's on. Oh, okay, Tendi did show up. Okay, thank you, Tendi, for explaining your situation. But I think you're here now. So turn the floor over to you, sir.
Okay, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Okay, hope you are still keep healthy and then safe. So I would like to tell my biggest achievement is join the Airbnb community, get more knowledge and then advice from other hosting. Other hosts about the hosting. And then my biggest personal growth is starting to deploy to photo to the guests. I had sent for the NH residence guest. That's from Diba photo. And then this is my picture when I'm young. That's with my grandfather, my grandmother, and my mother and my little sister. And then two behind there's my like what's called my uncle Lau. He's from they're from Australia. From the one is from New Zealand and one from Australia. Okay, thank
Well, which
you.
one's you, Tendi? Is this one you in the blue shirt? With the red
Yes,
shirt?
yes, sir.
Okay, fantastic.
Tadi yang pakai baju pink.
Okay, and then my biggest sustainable is open the discussion topic on the Airbnb community and interaction with other hosts in the world.
Wih.
Excellent. Tendi, let's jump over to your next one, which
Yes.
is over here.
Yeah.
Ini udah pakai baju.
Okay, my biggest achievement is trying the Gong Kayana for digital check-in and then gain more property to join CSC. Also, I have scheduled some properties on this Saturday with Andre as well. And then the personal growth is professional networking with Natalie and Ricardo and get good tips about the how to build community, about the snowflake method as well, like how we using that to our community. And then that's still same my photo. And then the biggest discovery actionable is don't push the 11 to move back. Give them the reason why they have to move. So we cannot to push the community because they have their own reason, but we can tell them like why they have to move, why they have to do this for future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tendi. Let's go next to, okay, we'll skip over Dean, and we'll go next to Cynthia. Cynthia, over to you.
Oh, where is it? Yes. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Good morning.
Morning.
Yep. So my biggest achievement for the first time is like executing and being a moderator on the BVE talk. Thank you so much for everyone who involved in these things, and then thank you for everyone who helped me to share the BVE talk information on their personal account. Thank you so much. That means a lot. And then, okay, for my biggest personal growth, I think like yep, this week I'm able to improving my communication skill and my self-confidence. And then also this is me when I was several months old, I think. And then yep, for my biggest, what is the last one? Actionable discoveries, like we don't believe we can do it until we done it, and sometimes we doubt ourselves, but we can do it beyond support and encouragement. I think there are the magic spell. That's from me.
Excellent. And yes, congratulations, Cynthia, for hosting the very first BVE talk. It was really, really fun to see the extension of the webinar idea applied to a global audience. So Really cool, really cool. Congratulations. Next to Andre. Okay, Andre, tell us what's up.
Hello, good morning everyone. Can you see me? So
I can see you, Andre.
my biggest achievement last week is just changing Airbnb profile. It's already changed on the Airbnb profile, on the Chrome profile, and on the also on the Google. And is that already changed? Is now we have Nadine Wayana, Rafiq Wayana, Rian Ching, Andre Wayana, Andre and Ara, and Cynthia Wayana. So I might help. I need help from you all guys to have a responsibility to remember that we have this new name, so we can remember and make it more easier when you say something related to the OTA on the beaker. So my biggest personal growth is I got highest impression on LinkedIn on the post that I post with Henar Mekdi from ex Uber in Cairo, Mesir, Egypt. I'm sorry, that I got 58 likes and more than 1,200 watch on the LinkedIn on that post. And here's
Nice.
my pictures. I don't really remember when, but I think it's when I'm in the elementary school. It's my first home in Yogyakarta.
Nice.
It's not Golkar, yeah. so this is the actionable discovery that we have to start to use or borrow your community voices to move the rest of the community. This is also things that I got the insight from the professional networking discussion. I think you guys that already do the professional networking, you can also put the insight from them and use it in your to working on your initiative and many others. So yeah, it's a professional networking is really fun source to learning. That's all.
Superb. Excellent. Thank you very much, Andre. Okay, we'll jump over Diva. Let's go over to Rizal. Rizal.
Rizal, come on, Rizal.
Good morning, everyone. Okay.
Good morning, Rizal.
Yeah, start from my biggest achievement this week is I already scheduling professional networking with rest of owner, and then my biggest personal growth is learning creating animation from scratch with using After Effects, and also confident with working on a website to convert leads. And then that's my photograph. Yeah, that's me and the center smiling with my brothers and my sister.
Are you? Which one are you, Rizal?
Under the coach, sir.
No, yeah,
Are you
smiling.
wearing
Sir.
a baby carrier?
Yes. Okay. Okay. Next to my actionable discovery, sir. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We can start to reach the remote properties to prepare remote workflow for our future using remote on everything. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Rizal. Rizal, who are your? Is this your family?
Yes. On the right side is my older brother.
Okay.
But on the left side is my apa? Cousin, sir.
Okay.
But
And who's the baby? Is this your baby?
no. I forget who is this.
How can you forget, ya Allah?
Oh wow. Okay, that's hilarious. Okay. All right, that's really cute. That's really cute. Good picture. All right, next over to Gani. Gani, over to you.
Hello. Okay. Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Gani.
So my biggest achievement last week is able to layouting website with mobile-friendly design using Elementor, and my personal growth is I'm feeling more confident launch property promo on Facebook. so, so
Yeah.
Wagon.
So yeah, that's my photo, 2011, and my actionable discovery is work a project with other chapters makes me have a new perspective and be more open-minded. So yeah,
Nice
that's it.
one. Nice one. Okay, very good. Very good. That sounds like zone of proximal development as well. And is this by Kraton, Gani?
No sir, that's my home.
Okay, got it. Cool. Next to Aldo. Over to Aldo.
Good morning, everyone. So my biggest achievement last week is we are getting our first step on networking on Thai property developer. And my biggest personal growth is I started to learn HTML, and that's my youngest photo that I can found. So, I think it's like 9 or 10 when I was 9 or 10.
Okay.
It's in my house, and my biggest actionable discovery is to do the research first about targeting the audience before the execution. It's mainly about the professional networking, so we could have better communication and better flow. That's from my bit.
I think Adam told us that, right? He was the guy who did the SEO work for Stay Alfred. He said that 90% of research is, or the research is almost 90% of the work. Cool. Is this a Nokia phone?
Yeah, it's not your phone. It's
Oh my god, that thing looks, wow, that's so thick. It's like a camera. Okay. All right. Cool. Next one over to Vinny. Oh, that's a cute Vinny. Okay. All right. Go.
So, morning guys. So my biggest achievement this week, was implementing the results of my professional networking with Slovak, which is the implementation of the whole winters model for company revenue. My biggest personal growth is reading more on philosophy and psychology. I read quite a bit on Jordan Peterson and Jungian psychology, as well as Socrates' dialectic method and Zeno's stoicism.
Okay.
And the youngest picture I can find was I think my parents took that in Singapore when I was around about 1 years old.
Nice.
And my actionable discovery is build model by model for forecasting, and it also applies for private by private, like for initiatives. And how do we use data and package them and communicate? And how do you communicate them? Actually, from our professional networking, Slavic tries to avoid them as much as possible, or maybe simplify the explanation. And also, he recommended to have other with communication expertise to communicate them instead. But I feel personally that we can learn to do both as a data scientist. Hence, I would like to allocate more time in accelerating my learning process using Flask this week. So that there are two pros for this. First, if we can actually make this, it will bypass the limits of Tableau itself, and also we can stop our subscription for Tableau. So
Okay. Ambitious.
So yeah, thank you.
Nice one. What did you learn from stoicism? Stoicism.
Stoicism is a philosophical concept of it's more like being. I don't know. At this point, maybe it's still very shallow of me to say, but it feels like being empty in a sense. Like it's almost like nihilism, but not really. In a sense, like if things happens, then it's good, but if things doesn't happen, then it's not your fault. In a sense.
Hey, I remember Bayu told me about that one time. Yeah, that was okay. I remember Bayu said he was a story. Okay. We'll get to Bayu in a second. Let's go over. Thank you, Vinny. Let's go over to Lilith. Oh wow, look at Lilith.
Hello everyone.
Hi, Lilith.
First, so I actually don't have any big achievement for last week, but I have make a new version of the partnership proposal, and my learning is I keep trying to implement relationship management with people to find more opportunities, and that's my picture. I don't know. I think 2 years old, and that's my mom, also my father's, and the other picture is
This is you.
yeah, that's me.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
Wait.
I'm very small during that picture.
Okay. And this is you. This one I can tell is you.
Yeah, this is me when I'm in the elementary school, I think.
Nice. Okay. Very cool.
And my actionable discovery is a possibility to work with agent to maintain the cash flow.
Okay, thank you very much, Alice. All right, and I think that is an achievement to come up with a new pitch, new partnership proposal. You should be proud of it. Okay, next to Ara. Okay, Ara, over to you.
Okay, so thank you, sir. So my achievement does not not achievement actually, but I get to finish new things, new materials. We never realized it's important for onboarding is that the module about harassment at work, and then for personal growth, I learned about LSI keywords related to SEO. Also hiring executive principles that is just started this morning. Also about people engagement formula that we had from Natalie, I think. And then that's my pictures of a kid. The first picture I attached it was when I was born a few days. No, so it's not really visible. That's my face. And then the second one is, yeah, that's me also in my playroom. And then for the actionable is that I discovered that on hiring we need to focus on what the key points are the company looking for, and don't get distracted on the other green flags that we detected, and focus on the specific thing to get hiring right for the specific moment. Thank you.
Nice one. Wait, okay. All right, are you the infant here? You're the baby here, right?
Yes, that was a blessing day after I broke born.
Oh wow. So this is day like day one.
Not really day one, few days after I born.
Okay, cool. Baby. Yes, that's something we discovered this morning with Jason about the focus on hiring. Okay, next to oh my God, it's me. Okay, my biggest achievement is I feel like we are in a period of renaissance in the company. We're able to import a lot of world-class thinking and elevate the capacity and the capability of the company. So that I think is something that is happening for the very first time in the company at this rate. So personal growth, I think there is a balance between improvisation and planning is where the best results are. So I've noticed that if we plan too much and we plan too much, sometimes we can get disappointed because the reality doesn't work out the way we want it. If we improvise too much, it's hard for people to follow. So I noticed that there is a good balance between planning and improvisation that creates, I think, the best results. I'm an old guy. I'm almost going to be 40 soon. So this is me when I was like, I think 20 or something. I don't know why I can't find any baby pictures because they are probably all in my home back in California. But anyway, this is the oldest picture I could find on my Facebook, and I'm visiting Tabasco with my roommate and buddy Sid. That was pretty fun. And my biggest actual discovery was the zone of proximal development. This is the idea that Lydia has brought forward. I think I, as a person, spend quite a lot of time mentoring and developing people in the company, and I learned that this idea helps a lot to have the right expectations for how much people can grow. All right, over to Rafik. Rafik's not here, but I'll read his card. So Rafik said no big achievement yet, just do daily routine. And on his personal growth, he got more knowledge from professional networking, such as building team and trusting others. This is Rafik drumming, I think, in a band. And Rafik's biggest actual discovery is do not push the elephant, but give them a reason why they need to move. And that was from our networking session with Ricardo Ramos. Okay, next, over to Rian. Okay, Rian, to you, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. So, yeah, my biggest achievement for is biggest compared to invite is to professional working. Two of them is Ricardo Ramos and Hatem Zidane. One of them is turned out to be community's favorite now. So yeah, and the biggest personal growth is learn from Ricardo on how to get better engagement and draw attention from the community. And then that's the picture of me there. And then when I was a kid, it was around 1997. So boy band is such a thing back then. So yeah, that's why I strike that pose just because I'm saying Backstreet Boys and then Hanson. And yeah, as you can see from the hair as well, it's pretty 1990s hairs with a boy bands that has most of the boy band had back in that day. So yeah, and the biggest actionable discoveries is I think it's from Ricardo as well. We're coding a lot from Ricardo, I believe.
It's if you're expecting 15 attendees, send out 60 invitations, and
Exactly.
that's work. So yeah, that's going to be my
If you're
biggest actionable
expecting
discovery.
15 attendees,
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Ren. Yeah, boy bands, 1997. I remember those days. Okay, next over to Bayu. Over to Bayu, sir.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Okay, so my achievement from last week, basically I'm able to replay the errors experienced by user. So this is very helpful. So basically, without the user knowing that there is an error, I can know that there is an error. So that is like replaying. Usually, when user tell us there's something wrong, we will ask them to what do you do, and then what did you click, what do you scroll to, or what are you doing. But now basically we are recording their screen on what they are doing, and then we can replay that, and then we can see what the actual thing that they are doing, where they are clicking. So that is one achievement. So and that also more helpful because even if they don't experience as an error, like something that usually get ignored, like it's not working when you click once, but it's working when you click twice. That for the user sometimes it's they don't bother to submit an error, but now we can see it here without user actually doing that. And then the second one is so far I'm doing the finance report, and almost 40% of transactions are auto paid and reported correctly on Bigger, but the remaining are just direct booking, and then the manual details that is not implemented correctly, that kind of stuff. But if we are back on like 90% on Airbnb transaction, then everything should be fine. And then the personal growth, basically, yeah, I'm implementing analytics for user experience in app development. Just a little part of that, but learning about that is good. Basically, we see from the user's perspective instead of the developer's perspective. And my photo, I actually Sari sent me because she looking at the photo albums at my home, and then she found some baby picture of me and then send it to me, but I cannot find it. I'm still trying to find it. It's very young. I think 2 years old, and chubby and small basically. So I want to show that one, but I cannot find it. I'm still scrolling. I will send it to you later if I find it. I just want Okay. Then the next actionable discovery is yes. Sometimes we focus too much on fixing the short-term problem. It's urgent. It needs to be fixed today. But actually, we forget that we have. If we fix that today, sometimes that problem will be repeated again tomorrow. So instead of doing that every day, we can just zoom out and then see the bigger picture and try to find that if there's any long-term solution for that to fix that once and for all. So that's the actionable discoveries. I want to implement that to myself first, and if you guys also in the same situation, you probably try that approach as well. So that's from me, Jing.
All right, thank you very much, Bayu. We'll look forward to seeing the baby picture. And that was very, very insightful too. Thank you for bringing that up. All right, next over to Wayana. Wayana, babe, tell us your update.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Okay, so my biggest achievement is I think I make a deal with temporary partner. I think 20 days I'm supposed to deliver, and the complex is called Karangkijana. It's like a second complex, like lot. Actually, they have 8 villas as well, big one in there. So personal growth is make a deal with temporary partners. So have a good connection with the person managing it. Like I don't, hey,
All right, take a look at it real quick. Okay?
I don't have a picture when I was young. I think like the picture that I found is in the ijazah. I don't have the ijazah, so I have my first phone. I remember I was when it was 23, so I don't have like much picture. So before 23, I don't have a picture basically. So this picture is like I think in Guangdong. So we have like a babi guling party. So that's my picture with my friend. And then the last one is understanding your capability. I think that's it.
Okay, thank you very much. Wow, I remember this. This is a Bukit Vista 2. This is when we were doing long-term rentals at the Astri Jewel.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. Fantastic. Next to Kiki. All right, Kiki. Welcome back.
Hi.
Okay. Hello, Kiki.
Oh, Kiki.
Okay. I see Kiki there. Maybe there's a technical thing. Kiki, if I'll just read this off, but if you get your mic, then feel free to intervene. So Kiki says not too big an achievement, but I completed a webinar with Ube Business Incubator, and I'm currently planning on having another webinar with UNEP. And personal growth, taking some days off means a new start. Okay, great. And here's Kiki. Cool. Looks like a little Red Riding Hood. And prioritization means less stressful as an actionable discovery. Next, okay, over to Kezia. Kezia.
Okay, good morning everyone.
Good morning.
My biggest achievement, I don't have big achievement yet from last week, but I'm still doing daily content for Instagram, and I will try new idea or pattern to gain more good impression on you. And my biggest personal growth is from last week, I figured out that I try to solve my friction by communicating it through other person to get more open with new alternatives to fix it. And there is my photo when I was 3 years old. Is the photo when I just try to make tree with my fingers because on that time I really fat and my finger is it's true. I really fat and my finger is so little, so I can't make tree. And my father is always make a joke with me for I can't making three numbers. So that's my photo that my father took at me. And my biggest discovery is good things next time. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kezia. All right, fantastic. That looks like a computer lab there. Was that in an office or at school?
In my mother office because I love to disturb my mother.
Nice. All right. We have some new interns here, so let's go ahead and get them introduced. Alethea, are you ready? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Alethea, turn on the camera. And this is Alethea. So she's coming to us before she's joining us, I believe. Oh, I'll let Alethea introduce herself. Alethea, tell us where you go to school, what you're majoring in, and a fun fact about yourself.
Okay, so hi guys, I'm Alicia. I study in Singapore, NTU Nanyang Technological University. I study psychology. One fun fact about me, I can't really think of one, but I think I have very low laughter tolerance, so I laugh very easily. Yeah, which is a bit difficult. So yeah, it's a bit difficult to function sometimes.
I share your problem, man. I have, I'll trigger a laugh pretty easily. Okay, thank you, Alethea, for introducing yourself. Okay, next over to Caroline. Caroline, I think, is in Jakarta. Caroline, over to you. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you're studying, and a fun fact about yourself as well.
Hello, I'm Caroline. So I'm currently studying, I'm still a student. I'm majoring in hospitality and tourism management in A. France. So my fun facts. Maybe I can speak conversational French.
Ouais! Parlez français.
Ouais, un petit peu, mais ça va.
Okay, so that's excellent. On a good day, I can speak French. Usually, when a French owner is negotiating with me, I try to take some French to sort of get the deal to swing one way. But now, okay, maybe we'll send Caroline into French negotiations. All right, thank you very much, Caroline, for and welcome. Next to Frida. Frida is joining us, I believe, from Jogja. And Frida, tell us a little bit about where you go to school, what you're studying, and fun fact about yourself, Frida.
I'm Frida. I'm studying at Persuaded University, majoring in accounting. Now I stay in Yogyakarta. And my fun fact, I love noodles. Very long.
Nice. Okay. Just to make sure I heard that right, Frida, did you say you love noodles?
Yeah.
Yes. What's your favorite noodle?
Yummy.
All right. Yummy. Oh, Yummy Panda.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Really good spot. All right, and that's Frida. Welcome, Frida. Okay, so there's another intern, Husky, but today he's excused. He's got a doctor's appointment. So that's Alethea, Caroline, and Frida. Welcome to Bukit Vista. Okay, all right, let's continue. We got 2 more minutes, so we will go into budgets and everything. I've condensed now. If you want to look at that, that's inside chapter budgets over here. And the next thing we're going to look at is core value recognitions. Okay, so let's see. I recognize a few people. I'll start with Cynthia first here. Cynthia, I recognize her for being the hero. And the reason why is she drummed up a lot of courage to actually do a complex webinar with guests from 3 different time zones. I think she pioneered this new capability. We didn't have this before, but she also built it based on Lilith's work, and I thought that was really cool. Lilith had already done work with community webinars, and Cynthia built to this new type of webinar that we have now. So I think being the hero actually means taking the courage to be the first to do something, and this is actually the very essence of good innovation. Okay, next one. I'd like to recognize Vidi for Be the Hero and Step on Toes. And this comes back to a leadership discussion we had on Friday. And I was kind of feeling a little bit frustrated with our progress on our mission. And I think the tone got a little bit negative and I started blaming people. But Vidi quietly reminded me that the core mission of our company is hospitality and put things back on track. And I think this is great to hear from time to time. And being the leader of a company, sometimes it is hard, right? Like, I'm still a person at the end of the day and I have my faults. But I think when somebody can come and remind, like, this is what we're actually doing, it's refreshing and it's good to align that again. So I think that's really important. So thank you to Vidi for, I think being the hero means also to take courage and confront difficult facts. And stepping on toes is to argue things when they are not correct. So I think that is a good example of that. I'm going to recognize Kiki on failing fast. And the reason why is because last week we had a lot of webinars, as Kiki mentioned, with Brawijaya, with Unpad, and this week now with ONM. So Kiki and I had some technical issues at the Unpad webinar with login and getting access to the video conferencing room that really took about 30 minutes before we could get in. It was quite frustrating. But what Kiki did was she took it upon herself to prepare and ensure a better technical check at the next webinar with Brawijaya, and it went much more smoothly. That to me is to fail fast, and that's really good. Okay, next is to Rian. Okay, Rian to Cynthia, never settle. Over to Rian.
Okay, sir. So the point is the same as you. As I feel like Cynthia has valiantly led the webinar for the first time. And for me, who's been involved in the professional networking as well, inviting people, that was quite a big leap. And to know her to be able to orchestrate that beautifully it's awesome. It's a pretty big event. You have like 40 plus attendance on that day. So it's pretty cool. And now her LinkedIn is on fire as well. So congratulations to Cynthia.
You opened my
Okay,
LinkedIn.
very good. Thank you very much, Rian. And next, I'd like to recognize Ara for stepping on toes, being transparent, and being the hero. The idea of bringing up the topic of harassment was uncomfortable, but I think it's actually necessary. Being able to speak on other people's behalf is being the hero. So without this knowledge, we would have a culture that would repel great talent. And I think it's a delicate topic, but there's something that also needs to be said, and that's transparency and stepping on toes.
Yep.
So thank you very much, Ara, for bringing up that forward. And I want to encourage a culture where things that are not going right can be discussed and brought up openly, and we can take the correct measures to correct stuff that is not adding to our mission of becoming the world's greatest hospitality company, most innovative hospitality company. Okay, that's it. I've gone overtime by 2 minutes, but that's pretty much the week. Thank you. Yes, over to oh wait, Rizal. Wait, no, the Cynthia.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm reading. Yeah, Cynthia.
Yep. I actually also recognize. I put on the recognition here. It's on the June 24th.
Oh, right here. Yes, thank you. Okay, sorry, Cynthia. I did not see that. Thank you. Over to Cynthia for the recognition.
Yep, it's actually for Rizal, Andre, Gani, and also VD for the help the other first and also be the hero. They helped me on the process during the BVE talk, and I asked them so last minute actually, but they are willing to help me. And so thank you guys. Without you, maybe like this won't be happen as well. And for you, if you have another feedback, you can please submit it on the paper. On the above, I have attached like BVE talk for everyone who knows about this and you want to give a feedback on this event. Your feedback will be means a lot. That's from me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Cynthia. Remember, feedback is a gift, so share generously your feedback to Cynthia so that she may do an even better e-talk. And I'm sure Cynthia will give you feedback when you have a project as well.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. That pretty much sums it up. And is there anything else that needs to be covered today? No? Okay. All right, then if that's it, please have a good week, everyone, and good luck. I think salaries are going to be issued on probably Saturday or Friday because the Sunday is the 5th.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll get salaries issued before the 5th, and have a good week. All right, see you everyone.
See you. Have a
Thank
nice
you,
day, guys.
everyone.
Thank you.
Okay.
Andre nggak mau SK9 ya?
Sekarang itu lihat.
Kenapa?
Mau check out jam berapa besok?